Hey, Motorman here, and today we're going to take a little ride. I have my wife Donna, otherwise known as Camera Girl, with me, and we're taking the Revivals, and we're going to talk about You Should Have Seen It Coming. That's right. Oh, by the way, a lot of people ask me if I've made any modifications to the bike, if I've changed anything on these Revivals. The only thing I've added first was DP brakes, and the reason I added these is because the wide white walls tend to get very dirty. The DP brakes, first of all, they don't spread that black dust all over the white walls, and they don't squeak. So yes, I've added these to both Revivals. And I think the other thing I did was I put motorcycle drop guards on them just in case. That's right here. Bike falls over, no damage whatsoever. In fact, if you go on the website ridelikeapro.com and click on motorcycle drop guards, they have the stainless steel or the black. In fact, you can get the blacks now and save 25 bucks. Just go on the website, click on motorcycle drop guards, and now let's go for a ride, and we'll talk about how to avoid crashes really very simply by looking ahead. All right, we're going to talk today about You Should Have Seen It Coming, because I was watching something on YouTube, and I'm going to show you some scenes from that. Motorcycle crashes or almost crashes. Man, these people should have seen it coming. When I say should have seen it coming, what I mean is, if you're looking way ahead and you see a car that might pull out in front of you, and by the way, you should be looking about 12 seconds ahead. If you see that car might pull out in front of you, come up with a plan. What happens if that vehicle actually does pull out in front of you? Do you have room to go to the right, go to the left around the vehicle? Come up with a plan. You got 12 seconds to come up with that plan. 12 seconds is a long time. You've heard people say, it happened so fast I couldn't do anything about it. What that really means is they never recognized a potential threat, and they weren't looking far enough ahead. So if you're looking far enough ahead, you're looking using that 12-second rule, but you don't recognize a threat, it's not going to help you. So recognize potential threats, and they also come from the right as well. You see a car, for instance, there's a street coming up on the right here. If there was a car there, I would be covering my brakes. I'd be off the throttle just in case that person decided to pull out, because you never know. You got to ride like you're invisible. Ultra defensive out on the street. And as you'll see in some of these video clips I'm going to show you, there are some people who just do completely stupid things out on the road, whipping through traffic and cutting around vehicles as if they're on a racetrack. If you ride like that, you are going to get hurt, or as I like to say, seriously killed. Seriously killed means, yeah, you're dead, but you shouldn't be dead. If you'd have paid attention, if you used a little common sense, you shouldn't be dead. So if you get seriously killed out of stupidity, if you believe in reincarnation, you ain't coming back from that. The powers that be will say, no, it was his own fault. We can't let this guy have another life. Now, of course, I'm joking, but you know what I'm saying. Use a little common sense. It goes a long way. Don't ride on the street like you're on a racetrack where you're the only one on the road. I've seen guys, a lot of guys on sport bikes, whenever we take a trip up to the mountains, and they're riding, coming around the curves with the knee down, crossing the double yellow line. It's crazy. You're gonna get killed doing that, or at least hurt really bad. Save the racing for the racetrack. You'll live a lot longer. And since most crashes or impact occurs at 20 miles per hour or below, well, you should know how to lean, turn, and swerve quickly. If you don't know, you should learn it, because anybody could cruise straight on down the road. Takes no skill at all. It's the leaning, turning, and swerving that's the problem. And the first time you try leaning, turning, and swerving quickly should not be when you actually need to do it, as in when something gets in your way, when a vehicle violates your right of way, when a car pulls out in front of you. That's not the time to find out if you're good at leaning, turning, and swerving. That's not the time to find out if you know how to use your head and eyes. Head and eyes means looking where you want that motorcycle to go, because your hands follow your eyes. You focus on that vehicle, chances are you're going to run right into it. Never focus on the thing you don't want to hit. Since 99% of motorcycle crashes, they say, are avoidable, if, of course, you recognize a potential threat, you're looking ahead, here's a car, might pull out in front of me, so I'm on my brakes already. If you didn't hear her, Donna said so was she, because you'd never know. And even if they're looking right at you, it doesn't matter. Get on those brakes, be prepared to come to a quick stop. There was an experiment done some time ago, and they had a group of people throwing a ball back and forth. They were standing in a circle, and I think the question was, they were asking people to watch this video and see how many times the ball passed from one person to another. Meanwhile, while this was going on, they had a guy in a gorilla suit walk by, look at the camera, and keep on going. No one who has watched this video noticed the gorilla. Why? Because they were all concentrating on watching that ball being passed back and forth. What that means is people are generally not looking for motorcycles. They're looking for other cars. So just because they looked at you, it doesn't mean it's registered in their conscious mind. Because the person is looking there in the vehicle and you could see them looking right at you, don't take it for granted that they see you and they're going to stop. Here's another vehicle in a bad angle too, and I can't tell if they're looking at me or not, but it doesn't matter. I was on the brakes, off the throttle. Whenever there's a possibility that a vehicle might violate my right of way, I'm going to keep my fingers poised over that front brake and my foot poised over the rear brake, just in case. Very simple, easy thing to do. It's going to save you 1 second in stopping distance. If you're going 40 miles an hour, you're covering 60 feet per second. It takes the average person 1 second to go from the grip to begin applying the brakes. So at 40 miles an hour, simply, with no practice at all, just by covering your brakes, you're going to save 1 second in stopping distance. These revivals have the RDRS system, and we're facing downhill right now, and it really comes in handy. I never thought I'd use this, but if you squeeze the brake, it holds the motorcycle. You don't have to keep holding the brake, and as soon as you give a little throttle and begin to let the clutch out, it automatically releases. It's a nice feature. In addition, the RDRS gives you 2 riding modes, standard and rain mode, and it gives you cornering ABS. Now, I haven't tried this, but I've seen videos of it from Harley on YouTube where you're in a curve, the bike is leaning over, you want to stop quickly even with the motorcycle leaned over, just jam on those brakes and you won't slide out. Normal ABS only works when the motorcycle is straight up, but the RDRS system, and many bikes have something similar, cornering ABS is the most familiar term, it is a lifesaver. Well worth on the Harleys on $9.95 extra. As I said, it comes standard on the Revival and the police bikes as well. But if you got to pay extra for it, go ahead and do it. So folks, this is really easy stuff. Ride defensively. Now don't be a timid rider. Don't go so slow that you got a parade of cars behind you. Don't block the left lane. That's going to cause road rage every time, so don't do that. If you're going slower than the other traffic, get in the right lane. Left lane should be for passing. And I know a lot of this is common sense, but as they say, common sense isn't all that common.